Welcome to the Blue Mouse Knits. Today I'm going to walk you through how to knit this really beautiful and cozy mock honeycomb cowl. I don't actually know if the stitch pattern is called mock honeycomb, it's just what I've always called it. But regardless, I really love this stitch. I haven't used it in a while, and recently I was looking back through old patterns and saw this in an old baby blanket of mine and thought it would make a really beautiful cowl. So the mock honeycomb cowl uses worsted weight yarn. If you match gauge, it should use about 195 yards or 178 meters for one cowl. And to knit this, I used a set of US 10 6mm circular needles. You'll need a set of needles that has the cord connecting it in a circle. And I recommend a 24-inch, 60cm cord length. You might be able to get away with a 16-inch, 40cm set, but it would be a little bit scrunched, so I think the 24-inch would be a lot easier. And the sample comes out to be about 25 inches, 63.5 centimeters around by 11 inches, 28 centimeters tall. This is what it looks like when you're wearing it. It's nice and cozy. It keeps your neck really warm, but it's not too tight that you feel like you can't breathe. This style is one of my favorite things to wear in the fall and winter. Everything you need to make this pattern can be found in this video, but if you would like a printable version, you can find that in my shop that's linked below. This video is sponsored by Audible. I am so excited that they are sponsoring the channel. I'm not much of a reader anymore. I used to be as a kid, but as I've gotten older, I just find it really hard to concentrate and sit staring at a book, and that is why Audible is perfect for us knitters. I've always been a huge fan of The Lord of the Rings, but I haven't actually read the books. When I heard that Andy Serkis, who played Gollum in the Peter Jackson movies, had recorded the entire trilogy on Audible, I could not have downloaded it faster. I seriously told everybody I knew that he had done it. He does such a wonderful job of bringing you into Tolkien's world, especially because he does a unique voice for every single character. It's something I've been listening to while I walk on the treadmill at the gym. Nothing makes the time go faster than an audiobook. Music, I'm always constantly looking at the clock, but with a book, I just get engrossed in the story, and before you know it, my time's up. So for those of you that don't know, Audible is a monthly audiobook subscription service. They offer a wide selection of audiobooks as well as thousands of podcasts, some that are exclusive to Audible. As a member, you get to choose one title a month to keep from their catalog, including bestsellers and new releases. You can stream them using Wi-Fi, or you can download them for road trips or flying. And if you'd like to try Audible free for 30 days, you can click the link in the description or the pinned comment. And thank you so much to Audible for sponsoring this video. That is huge for the channel. So thank you guys so much for listening. Now let's get started on our project. I'm going to show you the invisible join in the round method, which will decrease one stitch. So you need to cast on 91 stitches, and then after the join in the round, you will have 90. So I want to make sure that my cast on is not twisted. So in order to do that, I want the edge of it on the inside all the way around. So you can see the edging here is all on the inside. So I know that it's not going to be twisted. And I have the tails on my right hand needle. Pull the tail out of the way. And we're going to take one stitch from our left hand needle and move it to our right hand needle. So slip the first stitch from our left hand needle as if to purl to our right hand needle, and then we're going to take the second stitch on our right hand needle and pull it over that slip stitch and off. So go into it from left to right, pull it over and off, and then I can pull on both the working yarn and my tail to close up any gap. And we're going to work a 1x1 rib. We do this until our hem is approximately 1.5 inches long. So you just start with a knit stitch, then work a purl stitch, and you're just going to do that all the way around. So go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you back here for the stitch pattern. So after the ribbing, we need to work 3 knit rounds for a setup. Here I've already done that, so go ahead and catch up, and then we start the stitch pattern. For the stitch pattern, it's a 12-row repeat. So the first row, we're going to slip 3 with the yarn in front, and then knit 3. So to begin, bring your yarn in between your needles to the front of the work, and we're going to slip 3 stitches with the yarn held in the front of your work. You can either slip them individually or all at once. So the yarn's in the front of my work, and I'm just going to slip 1, 2, 3. And you slip them all as if to purl, and now we're going to knit 3. So this is going to create a loop in the front of these 3 stitches. So you want to be a little bit loose with this. So I kind of stretch out my stitches a little bit and then bring the yarn in between my needles to the back of the work. Keep those stitches stretched out. You don't want them all kind of clumped together. That'll create a way too tight loop in the front. You want to make sure that you have enough room here. So stretch them out and then loosely knit the first one. And then you can knit the other two normally. And it should look like this. You've got a loop in front of the first 3 stitches and then you've knit the following 3. So we're just going to do that all the way around. So bring your yarn in between your needles to the front. And this time I'm going to slip them at the same time. So into the first 3 stitches, into the front loops of them, and just slip them to my right hand needle. Stretch them out a bit. Bring the yarn around to the back. Keep them stretched out and loosely knit that first stitch. And knit 2 more. And there we have it. That is round 1 and also round 2. Go ahead and work that for 2 rounds and I'll meet you back here for round 3. You should currently have 2 dashes like this scattered around your cowl. That's what it should look like. And now you need to knit 3 plain knit rounds. Rows 3, 4, and 5 are all knit rounds. So now we need to do the most crucial round in our cowl. So in order to create the mock honeycomb look, we need to knit underneath these bars. Our repeat is a knit 1, ULS, knit 4. So we're going to knit the first stitch normally, and now we knit the next stitch underneath these bars. So I take my right hand needle and I go underneath both of them. I'm not catching anything else, just those 2 bars. And now I knit the next stitch normally. And then I pass those 2 bars over that knit stitch and off. And I kind of just bring my right hand needle to pass them over. But you could also use your left hand needle if that's easier. And now we're going to knit 4. It will look like this. So I'll show that to you again. We work a knit 1. And now we're going to knit underneath those 2 bars. So I'm just going to bring my needle underneath both of them like this. So just underneath them. I'm not catching any other part of my cowl, just those 2. Knit the next stitch. And then I pass those 2 bars over that knit stitch and off. So I can use my left needle or my hands. Pass it over and off. Retension and then knit 4. It will look like this for now. So go ahead and do that all the way around. So essentially rounds 7 through 12 are the same as 1 through 6. Everything's just shifted over a little bit. All the techniques are the same. So for round 7, we're going to knit 3 and then slip 3 with the yarn in front. So knit 3. Bringing the yarn in between the needles to the front of the work. Slip the next 3 as if to purl. Bring the yarn around to the back of the work in between your needles. And again, make sure that your stitches are spread out here. Knit the first stitch loosely, and then knit the next 2 normally. And repeat. Yarn in between to the front. Slip the next 3 as if to purl. Bring your yarn around to the back of the work. Knit 3. Bring the yarn in between the needles to the front. Slip the next 3 as if to purl. Stretch them out. Yarn to the back. And repeat all the way around. So rounds 7 and 8 are the same. And then rounds 9, 10, and 11 are all knit rounds. So go ahead and work those rounds and I'll meet you back here for round 12. For our final row, we're going to do basically the same thing we did for round 6, but just slightly shifted over. So we're going to knit 4 and then knit 1 ULS. So go ahead and knit 4. And now we're going to knit 1 ULS. Just like we did last time, we're going to go underneath the 2 bars. Knit 1. And then pull those 2 bars over that knit stitch, or just pull your right hand needle underneath it. Now I need to knit 1. And then to work the repeat again, you start with a knit 4. So you'll always have 5 stitches in between your knit 1 ULS. So go ahead and knit 1 and then knit 4 for the start of your next repeat. And now we knit another ULS. So go underneath these 2, being careful not to catch any strands from your cowl. Knit 1 normally. Pull those 2 over that knit stitch. Knit 1 and that is your repeat. You can go ahead and repeat rounds 1 through 12 until your cowl measures approximately 10 inches from the cast on. So go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you back here for the bind off. So at this point, we've done the bulk of our cowl. All of our stitch pattern rows are done, and it's time to work our end hem. It's a little scrunched here, but once I block it, it'll stretch out a little bit more. But this is what the final result of your stitch pattern should look like. We finished with a full 12 round repeat, and it's time to work our final hem. So before we start our ribbing, we need to work 3 final rows of just plain knitting. It's the exact same thing we did right after our beginning ribbing, where we worked 3 plain rounds. Now we need to do the mirror of that up here and work 3 plain rounds of knitting. So go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you back here for your ribbing. For the ribbed hem, you have the option to switch to a smaller needle, but you don't have to. For this example, I'm not going to. I'm just going to keep going in my US 10s. And we're going to work a 1x1 rib. So this is very, very simple. We've done this before. You just knit 1 and then purl 1, and you just do that all the way around. We do this until our hem is approximately 1.5 inches long. And I'm going to work 1 less round than I did down here. So for here I did 9 rounds, and now I'm going to work 8 before working my bind off. So I'm just going to work 8 rounds of ribbing, and then I will show you how to bind off. So now that we've finished our hem, it's time to work our bind off. And we're going to work a standard bind off in pattern. So that just means that you knit your knits and purl your purls. Knit the first stitch, purl the second stitch, and now you're going to pull that knit stitch over the purl stitch and off the needle. So you can go into it from left to right, pull it over and off. Now our next stitch is a knit stitch because we have a column of V's. So we're going to knit it. Now we repeat that bind off step. So we take our second stitch from the edge and pull it over the first stitch from the edge and off the needle. So go into that second stitch with your left hand needle from left to right and pull it over and off. And you can use your right index finger to keep the first stitch from sliding off. And I like to do this a little bit loosely, so don't knit very tightly. Sometimes I'll even pull up on the stitch after I bind off. So our next stitch is a purl stitch. Now we pull the second over the first and off. You can hold the first in place with your index finger, pull over and off. And now you have only 1 stitch left. So you just repeat this process all the way around. And this is why we wanted to knit 1 less row of ribbing for this hem versus the start hem, because this bind off row will count as a ribbed row. So go ahead and work in pattern all the way around as you bind off, and I will meet you back here for the final finishing step. Once you get down to your final stitch, you can go ahead and pull it out a little bit and remove your needle. You can cut yourself a tail. It's approximately 10 to 12 inches long. You can take your final stitch and pull it out. It should be intact. Nothing's going to unravel here. It's just a more invisible knot. And now you thread your yarn onto a yarn needle, and we're going to do our invisible join in the round. We need to find our first bound off stitch. So if we look at the top of our bind off, it looks like a bunch of V's that go like this, okay? Just in a line. You can see them here. We need to find the closest one to the end of our bind off. So here's one. Here's one. Here's one. And if we look, it starts to kind of curl over into our column of knit stitches. So we know that this one right here is our last bound off stitch. There's no other one over here. It just becomes a stitch in our column. So we go from front to back underneath both legs of it, from front to back, pull through. And now do you see where your yarn is coming out of? We're going to take our needle kind of from front to back or from top to bottom and go into that hole where your bind off yarn is coming out of. So I'm going to go into that hole kind of from front to back, and make sure you keep your other string out of the way, pull through, and there you have it. That is our near seamless transition. So there was a dip here before, but now it's straight across. So how I weave in my ends is I go up a column of lines right here, and then I get it stuck in my normal fabric. So I just go up through here. This looks like the right leg of a knit stitch, of an upside down knit stitch. So it's the right half of it, and I just pick up, go all the way up. You can do them individually, but it's faster to do multiple. So individually it's just going from right to left underneath one leg, but you can combine multiple if you find that faster. So we do that all the way up, and now we get stuck into our pattern. This looks like reverse stockinette, and with reverse stockinette, or the wrong side of a stockinette stitch, you get this shape. I'll try and put it on screen. It's kind of like an octopus. That's what we're trying to follow. So we're going to find a stitch. Here's one. Now I'm going to go up on the left, around the top, and down on the right. So we're essentially following this strand here. This strand goes up through the middle, and then the strand goes on the left side of the octopus. And now the strand goes over to the right. And then it goes down through the bottom middle again. Do you see how we perfectly mimicked that stitch? And that's it. You just do the same thing. We follow this strand. So in the middle bottom, up on the left, down on the right, and down through the middle. And that's it. Now I just split a stitch, pull through, and it's nearly invisible. So I can cut my yarn. There's no one right way to do it. This is just how I do it. So it's a little visible from the wrong side. Like, it looks a little messy here, but if I flip it over, it looks good. You can't even tell that we wove it in down here. So go ahead and do that same process for your cast on tail. And I'm going to block my cowl just to get the stitch pattern to lay a little bit better and to kind of even out my stitches, and then it will be good to go. So there you have it. That is how to make the mock honeycomb cowl. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and subscribe for more videos. I've got a ton of free patterns that are already out and more coming. If you want to find the PDF version of this, it's linked below, and you can check out my shop there as well.